This is the Hamilton Khaki Field Day-Date Automatic. That's a mouthful, I know. The Khaki Field Day-Date Auto is 42 millimeters of brushed and polished stainless steel with a lug-to-lug measurement of approximately 50 millimeters and a height of only 11 millimeters with a 20 millimeter lug opening, making it a more than willing recipient of a variety of straps. Now, the strap that does come with this particular khaki is a soft green calf leather. It is comfortable, pliable, and has double punched holes for the Hamilton H clasp. Not that you'll be keeping this Day-Date Auto on the stock strap for very long, as it's just begging to explore various earth tone NATOs, canvas, and leather straps. If a metal bracelet is what you prefer, you can also find that option on the white dial version for a few more dollars. The Khaki Day-Date is powered by the Precision H30 movement, which is a modified ETA 2836-2, offering 80 hours of power reserve, enough to last 3 days in your watch box before you will need to wind it. The H30 integrates a day and date facility into a 3-hand movement, where mine is running a reliable 5 seconds fast per day. The crystal is a flat piece of sapphire. I have read some sources that claim it has an anti-reflective coating, but if it does, I cannot perceive it, and the Hamilton website does not make this claim as far as I can tell. Still, the dial is legible and does not suffer significantly from unwanted glare. The dial may appear to be a single black circle, but is actually comprised of a smaller circle and a larger outer circle with grooves such as you might find on a record. Millennials can go Google that right now. The grooves catch the light at various angles and provide a level of detail that is at first unexpected and ultimately quite interesting. There is a clearly printed chapter ring around the outermost perimeter of the dial with applied circular indices at each hour, which have an application of lume for legibility in the dark, although I admit they do not last very long. The rest of the outer circle contains large Roman numerals at 12, 3, and 9, as well as smaller Roman numerals at each of the other respective hours. There's a second chapter ring bordering the outer perimeter of the inner circle, where you will find small but clearly printed 24-hour markings, making this a true field watch. Hamilton is printed just below the day complication, and Khaki Automatic is printed just above the date. Swiss and made sit left and right of the 6 respectively. All of the above markers are done in what I can only describe as a golden tan color that is extremely attractive and hints at rugged adventures in the wilderness. Hamilton's website describes this watch as the ultimate backup when you're out in the field. Of course, the defining feature of the Hamilton Khaki Field Day-Date Automatic is the day-date feature. In a departure from the rest of the dial, both complications are printed in white, which helps them to stand out from the rest of the markings and adds a bit of interest into what is otherwise a monotone design. The day sits at the top of the inner circle and is curved to match the chapter ring. The printing is clean and legible, instantly drawing the eye. The date is also quite easy to read and sits at the bottom of the dial above the 6 and cuts through the inner chapter ring. There's a symmetry to the dial that is at once pleasing and yet also interesting. Hamilton did a great job to ensure that there was balance to the design without monotony. I find myself often focused on one aspect of the dial to later focus on another portion of the dial in admiration. This Hamilton Khaki always provides an opportunity to avoid work and stare at the dial for a time instead, Especially pleasing is the day change at midnight. Having 2 young kids, I'm usually not awake to see it change over to midnight, but if you are, you will enjoy a quick rotation of the day wheel into place as the minute hand approaches 12, accompanied by an audible click. The hands of this version, which are filled with lume, are also colored in a khaki color, but of a softer, almost creamier tone. The syringe-shaped hands are well proportioned, with the hour hand extended to the far edge of the inner chapter ring, as it should, and the minute and seconds hands extending to the edge of the outer chapter ring. The seconds hand is tipped with an arrowhead and is counterbalanced with a small lollipop. I especially enjoy watching the seconds hand pass over the minute hand in such a way that it perfectly covers the needle tip of the minute hand. Again, this watch is all about balance without boredom, function with a strong eye to form. Unfortunately, there is one area where Hamilton could have given a little more attention to the function of the watch. There is one glaring area where this field watch falls short of the function of a field watch, and that is its vulnerability to water. With the screw-down exhibition caseback and a crown that does not screw down, it is only water resistant to 5 bar or 50 meters. In other words, you might take this field watch in the field, but not in the stream, and certainly not in the pool. Second to this shortcoming for some will be its size. I have a large 8-inch wrist that can accommodate the 50 millimeter lug-to-lug dimensions of this khaki. But even I wish that it were just a couple millimeters shorter. While the long lugs are attractive and make adding NATOs less difficult than some other watches out there, a lot of people simply cannot comfortably wear such a long watch. At the end of the day, this is a beautiful watch with an extremely well executed design that boasts an effective day-date complication. It is legible, which I always find good in a watch, and it evokes visions of hiking trails and fording streams in the deep backwoods. But perhaps it hints more at a rugged persona than actually seeing it to fruition. As I said, Hamilton's website describes the Khaki Field Day-Date Automatic as the ultimate backup when you're out in the field. I'm not so sure about that. I think a more honest tagline would read, the ultimate backup when you're at your desk, adding, and don't want to work.